My name is Axios, and this is Alive with Axios, an intuitive podcast slash show slash thing that's essentially a how do I describe this? Well, I'll describe it like this. This is a improvised experience. Essentially, I am showing up with you right here, right now, where I'm going to share a particular message, and the intention of that message is for it to be something that resonates with you, that is applicable to you, to your life. And the catch with all this is that I don't actually know what I'm going to talk about. I don't actually know the theme. You might see a theme in the title. That's after me watching, or that's after this experience. But as I'm filming this right now, I actually don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where we're going to go with this. And what I understand is that this process of discovery, this process of like being surprised by what shows up here, is a big part of what will make this message more impactful for not only you, but myself as well. So we begin and end each of these episodes with a guided meditation. And the idea and the importance behind that is that it's going to help you to ground into your experience, to become more present with yourself. So not only can you feel like a sense of peace and well-being within yourself, especially if your day's been a bit stressful or overwhelming, it'll bring you back into that center, that place of peace, but also it gives you an opportunity to connect a bit deeper to your sensations, your feelings, and your intuition. So as I'm speaking to particular things, you'll resonate and connect to your own intuition and find perhaps some hidden gems along the way. So we're going to begin and end with a guided meditation. So with that being said, let's begin. So I invite you to just take a moment to just relax, find a comfortable space, take a deep breath in, hold, and a deep breath out, slowly outwards. Now I actually like to breathe in and out through my nose, so you're welcome to do that, or in through the nose, out through the mouth, or the nose isn't working, just in and out through the mouth is fine. So another deep breath in. Hold. And a slow, deep breath out. Coming back to a normal breathing pattern, and as you are, just noticing what it's like to be in your body right now. Connecting to the sensations that are most present for you right now. Like, what are you noticing right now? For me, I'm noticing my feet, the tops of my feet are vibrating. I'm aware of my hands, my palms. Kind of like this pulsing sense. I can feel some pain in my lower to mid back. Some pressure on my forearms. Just continuing to breathe and just noticing these different sensations coming up for you. You also might be with different feelings or emotions. Just noticing that. Perhaps there's anxiety or fear or some sort of discomforting emotion present that maybe you can't even name. Or perhaps you're feeling excited and engaged and excited. I said that twice. Maybe you're super excited. Maybe you're really happy. However you're feeling, whatever you're sensing, just accepting yourself exactly as you are. Just accepting every bit of you, every moment, every experience. It's all good. And now taking one more deep breath in. And holding at the top. And slowly letting it out. Now just taking one more moment to notice what's changed, what's different for you. And as you are noticing what's different, you might feel a desire to move your body. Oh my God, do you hear those cracks? I really needed to move. And even making a noise. Just letting it out. Just saying, letting it, freeing yourself. Oh, letting your body move. Oh, wow. Whew. Yeah, that feels good. That feels real good. So you might notice that after doing all that, you feel different. So just inviting that different feeling, that change of state. And now we're here. We're together. We are alive together, and we can begin this thing. So I don't know what we're going to talk about. So let's both connect right now. Let's take a moment to connect. What's most alive right here, right now? And just take a moment to connect to yourself. What's most alive for you? Right now, you might just start with body sensations. Yeah, kind of like got this like feeling of like energy like coming in downwards like this right now for me. And I'm aware of my gut. Now my eyes, I can feel like them folding inward or downward. I wonder if there's a story that we can start with. Or an analogy. Alright, so I notice I'm like resisting sharing this because it's kind of a grotesque imagery, and the imagery I'm getting, I'm just going to be straight up with you guys, this is just kind of gross, but you know, it's not my duty to judge here, but I'm getting the image of just like sitting on the toilet and just having like trying to poop, right? And I mean, just be with me in this experience here. You're trying to poop and it's too big. Whatever is trying to come out is too big and it's not lubricated. And it's painful. We've all had that, right? I mean, this is not just me where you're just like, this is like the most excruciating experience in the world. I'm like trying to release and I can't. And it's in that moment, usually I'm just like, damn, I should have drank more water, and what the hell did I eat? Did I eat a rock accidentally? What is going on? This is extremely painful. And just being in that highly vulnerable state of just like naked on a toilet seat, right? And you're like, I'm not really sure what to do. It's not coming out. And this is like excruciatingly painful the more I sit with this. So, alright, I shared the uncomfortable thing. Cool. So what's the meaning behind that? You know, why are we sharing that? So, like, the sense I get is it has something to do with lubricating. You know, lubrication. Lubricating your life. Forgetting the lubrication. When we forget to bring forth that lubrication in our life. And we're, okay, now I'm seeing it. All right, so this metaphor, this beautiful metaphor, it's speaking to, we're on the shitter. We're releasing shit, right? We're releasing what might be toxins that have accumulated in our bodies and we are disposing of, right? Now bring this to your life. You might be doing a lot of emotional work. You might be overcoming some challenges in your life. You might be like stepping up, being courageous and like owning your power. And through that process, you're releasing a lot of junk, a lot of shit. There's a lot of toxic stuff, a lot of trauma perhaps that you're connecting with and you're releasing in some way. This is a powerful experience, obviously, and you might be doing everything right up until the point where you need to actually digest and release the shit, right? You might get it all accumulated, all ready to release, but something's missing, and as we go back to that poop analogy, what's missing is the lubrication. Like, how am I going to actually get it out? Especially if I have this big ball of junk, this big ball of like toxic energy, how am I going to get it out if I don't have, some part of me lubricated to like push it out? So energetically, emotionally, I think this happens, and I can really embrace that for myself. I want to just give you guys a very specific, practical example. This past week has been really not fun for me on an emotional level. I've just been in this sort of existential crisis, and it really felt very uncomfortable to be me for a long time. And I got to a point where I was just like, I was not liking being alive. Like, I wanted to die. There were some moments where I was like, I literally just want to die. I don't want to be in this experience anymore. And it was extremely uncomfortable, extremely difficult. And it really does remind me of just being on the shitter with this whole bunch of shit like not coming out, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so painful. I just want to die. Like, what do I need to do here? It's like, clearly this needs to be released. Why is it not being released? And I had clearly done a lot of self-work. I had done a lot of like work on myself. I like 3 weeks ago did a 10-day meditation retreat, 10 days of 10 hours of meditation. So I was definitely doing the work, and the problem wasn't me doing the work and like and getting rid of my junk, or like becoming aware of my emotional bullshit and letting that go. It wasn't that. It was the process of just like disposing of it that was the issue. So anyways, just to get straight to the point here, the thing that actually resolved it for me was when I realized that I'm not moving my body enough. Like, I was being so still 10 days of meditation, and then really just like spending a lot of time sitting and not actually moving that much. Maybe walking once in a while, but I actually wasn't really moving my body in the way that it really needed to move, which was actually aggressively. I needed to move my body aggressively. I needed to get outside. I needed to run really fucking hard. And when I finally started to do that, when I finally, thank God for my beautiful friend and coach and one amazing psychic woman, Abigail Noel, she just gave me the feedback. You gotta just run. Just gotta get out there, get in the gym. And the moment I did that, it was like the moment that my body received the lubrication that it needed to release all the gunk that had just been stuck in there. And once I released it, it was like nothing was wrong. There was no longer an existential crisis. I was no longer feeling like I wanted to die. It was quite immediate. It was just like complete shift in state of being, feeling so much better. And, honestly, I wouldn't be here on a camera if it wasn't for that. So it's so important to acknowledge those moments in our lives where there's something that's not being lubricated. And although we might be doing the work, we might be certainly putting in the time, putting the effort, being courageous, showing up in a particular way. But if we're not adding that sort of lubricant, it's like you could have the best sex ever with someone, right? Like, it's just like, oh, amazing sex, except like when you forget the lube, there's a point in which it doesn't matter how amazing you're thrusting, that's going to cause pain on both sides, right? It's like, let's get there. What are some other, practical ways of looking at this? Like connecting to your life right now. Like, what's a way in which maybe like you really feel like you're doing the work in some aspect of your life right now, but there's something that's just not lubricated. Something is like not there, and it's perhaps causing pain when you do the thing, or pain when you're trying to like let go of the stuff that you're ready to let go of. What is that thing? Can you connect to that thing? I'm just going to take a moment right now. Let's connect to that. I'm going to try connecting to another thing that's relevant to me. Yeah, and this is actually bringing up another point here, is that sometimes lubrication is not what it seems, or maybe it's like it's okay. Let me say this: what is lubrication? That's a good question. I mean, it's obvious. There's different contexts where lubrication is obvious, like sex, or if we're talking about being on the shitter, water. But when we're talking about life and these different circumstances in life, what is lubrication? And in what I'm receiving right now, lubrication is kind of like the empty space of your life. And let me just give you an analogy for that. Like, in art, when they talk about negative space in art. Like, let's say you made just like a black circle on a white piece of paper. The white would be like the negative space, right? And that negative space sort of emphasizes that black circle. So the negative space in this context is actually the lubrication. So what is that really when we're connecting that to life? Well, it's the paradoxical aspects of our lives that is that sort of blank space, which is the lubrication for our lives. So I bring that all back to this. If you're the type of person where you're doing, and you're noticing that doing is starting to become painful and not actually serving you, and you're kind of feeling stuck, like you're on that shitter of life, right? And you're stuck and it hurts and it's painful and you're not even sure what to fucking do about it, The lubrication for you might be the paradox of what you're doing, which is doing. So what's the opposite side of doing? But that's what I'm actually trying to say here. What's the opposite of doing? Not doing, right? Not doing. So in order to lubricate the doing, you need to stop doing. Don't do. Take a moment to take a break. What does that mean? Yeah, take a break. Stop. Meditate. What does that mean? Just be still. Literally just like take 2 minutes and stop. So that's one way of looking at it. And if we went in the reverse mode, if you're the type of person that maybe is just procrastinating a lot and actually not doing, or maybe you're waiting, you're like, I'm waiting for that perfect inspiration to come, that perfect moment, and that you're in this waiting process. You're like, I'm trying to be patient, but this is like starting to get really hard to the point where it's not feeling good anymore. At that point, embrace paradox and do the opposite. Lubricate with action. Just do something. Make a choice. Just do something. It doesn't even have to be the right choice. Just do something. It might even be, like as we said before, moving your body. It could just be like, I don't actually know what to do, but I'm going to do the most obvious thing that is probably wrong. It doesn't even feel good. I'm just going to fucking do the thing. Doing something will serve as lubricant for you. So, what are some other ways that we can add lubricant to our lives? So, when we're talking about relationships, let's say you're in conflict with someone. Let's say you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and you're in an argument, and it's starting to get pretty bad, and maybe your tendency is to want to like resolve it with them. Like I want to like let's talk about it till it's resolved. But you're noticing that talking isn't actually resolving the conflict, and it actually is either just continuing to be a conflict, or it's just getting worse. So what would be the lubricant in that situation? What is your choice? What is your lubricating How are you gonna get off that shitter, right? Pretty obvious, right? It's obvious to you, right? Right. You create space. You choose to create space with this person. Say, I'm gonna take 3 or 4 days to just be in my own experience, and let's just not have a conversation for 3 or 4 days. Let's just like take a break from this. I'm gonna take some time to reflect. You take some time to reflect. Let's just be to ourselves for a bit, and then we'll come back. So that spaciousness there, that's the lubricant. That is the lubricant. Now, if you're noticing on the opposite end, you're the type of person that wants to get away and create a lot of space, and maybe that's just the way that you cope, or like you notice that when things get intense in relationships, you're like, it's really hard for you to be like in close proximity to someone. If you notice that, and you're noticing that when you sort of back up, take a step back, the more you do that, the worse things get. If you're noticing that, like the conflict's not actually resolving by you giving yourself space, then the lubricant in that case would be you actually choosing to show up with them and taking time to like be in that conflict with them, and just like, I know it can be, it's a courageous thing to show up with someone and not know where things are going to go, and especially when things aren't looking good, but that can be the greatest lubricant for you in those circumstances. So those are just like a few examples of what this is. I'm like I think this is so great. I'm glad I was so resisting sharing this theme today, just because it felt so off, so far out there. But I think there's something to that too. And this actually is another message that's coming in, is that sometimes the best lubricant in our lives is the thing that's way the fuck out there, right? It's way far from what we're expecting that we're needing. Sometimes the thing that we need the most is not the thing that's the most obvious thing that we think we need. It's actually the thing that's like way the fuck over here that we didn't even think about that we might need, that is coming into our life. And usually, I can only speak for myself here, like when something that I don't think I need, which is way over here, comes in and is knocking on my door and it's like, hey, this is a need that you have, I often am like resistant to that. I'm often just like, no, I don't need that. I actually need this thing that I've been trying to get my needs met through. It's on my couch and I've been trying to just get it to love me. Consider opening the door. Consider opening the door and at least seeing what it wants. It might be Jehovah's Witness. They might ask you a couple questions. They might try to get you to love God. They might try to sell you a Bible. But when we're talking about lubrication, that was no disrespect to Jehovah's Witness whatsoever. That was just like a fun moment. But opening the door can be a source of lubricant. And embracing the things that we don't even think we need, that are just way over here, that's the paradoxical nature of reality that's trying to come in and lubricate the shit out of us, literally and metaphorically. Beautiful. So that feels like a good place to end. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you're able to connect to that in your own experience. Let's end with just like a short connect to self meditation, whatever your guided meditation, whatever you want to call it. Take a deep breath in and hold. Slowly let it out. Connecting back to your body. Just noticing your body. Noticing the sensations that are present right now. Noticing your butt, what it's like to feel into your butt right now. Maybe it's sitting on a seat, sitting on some surface. Noticing the sensations in your feet right now. And then when you're ready, take another deep breath in and hold. And slowly out. And with that, we have completed. So thank you guys so much for showing up today. That was a fun run, and hope you got something out of this. If you did, I would love to hear how this impacted you, if there's any insights that you received in this podcast. And if you have any desires or things that you want me to talk about in the future, I would love to hear that as well. So anyways, have a wonderful rest of your day. I will talk to you soon. Peace and love, my friends.